Welcome to Lesson 11 of writing an academic essay from start to finish, where we're literally writing an essay together from start to finish. In our previous lesson, we finished writing our essays, but we're not quite done yet. In this lesson, editing and revising your essay, we're going to talk all about editing. We're going to go over the 3 levels of editing, tips for self-editing, and how to title your essay. We're also going to do a quick editing activity at the end, because editing is one of the most important steps in essay writing or writing in general. After writing your first draft, the rest of the writing process is just editing until you're happy with the final product. All right, it's time to edit. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and let's get started. When we think of editing, we think of proofreading, making sure there are no spelling or grammar mistakes. However, there is so much more to editing than that. There are 3 distinct levels of editing. The first level is structural or developmental editing. This is where we focus on overall structure and organization. We're looking at things on a paragraph level. Does the essay follow a good structure? Do we have introduction, thesis statement, body paragraphs, conclusion? Are they flowing well from one to another? Is there any missing major information that we need to include or anything major that we need to omit? That is your structural developmental edit, and it is the first round of editing that you do. From there, you can move on to a copy edit or a line edit. Here we're looking at things on a sentence level. We're looking at word choices, sentence variety, consistency and accuracy of our language. We're moving sentences around and checking our style, tone, and diction. And once we're done with both of these, then we can proofread. This is the final review where we check for spelling, punctuation, and grammar. And you might want to proofread more than just once. And lucky for us, we also have some cool tools like Grammarly that can help us, but make sure you don't rely solely on them because they don't catch everything. Now, when you're editing an essay, you are editing your own work. You don't have someone else editing it for you, which can be harder because you're used to your own work. So let's go over some self-editing tips to make the process easier. Tip number 1, keep it relaxed. When you're done writing your essay, stop, put it aside, and wait a few hours before you start editing. This will give you a fresh perspective on your essay and make it easier for you to catch mistakes. Also, make sure you read the essay aloud to yourself because that way it will be easier to catch mistakes. Tip number 2, keep it fresh. Read your writing in different formats. It might be helpful to print it, take a physical pen, and edit it manually. The idea is that we tend to scan read, especially our own writing. So by reading it aloud or printing it, you are slowing down the process and forcing yourself to focus on the writing rather than just scanning through it. Tip number 3, keep it specific. So in every round of editing, focus on a different thing. So for example, in my writing, I tend to start a lot of sentences with conjunctions and I tend to use a lot of dashes. So I'll dedicate one editing round to just finding those 2 things. Also, creating an editing checklist can be a great help when you're self-editing. You can grab our editing checklist as a part of our Writing an Academic Essay bundle. It includes all of the slides from the series and cool resources like this. The link to that is of course in the description. Tip number 4, keep it concise. When you're editing, try and remove any redundant information and filler words, even if you have to reach a word count. If you do need to reach the word count, try and replace the filler words with more ideas. When you're removing redundancies, it does help to use a pen to scratch out filler words. One of my high school teachers had us do this exercise where we would scratch out any redundancies in our essay, and I was surprised by the amount of words that I didn't need in my essay. It almost shrunk to half the size. So make sure you give this a go. And finally, the last tip is to keep it consistent. Some things you can check for is point of view. Make sure you're writing it all in the same point of view, that your verb tenses are all the same, so not half of it's written in past and half of it's written in the present. And make sure your language used is consistent as well. If you're writing formally, write formally throughout the whole thing. Speaking of academic language, here are some guidelines you can follow for writing formally. First and foremost, use professional language. So instead of saying kids, you might use the term children or students. And avoid slang or informal language. So instead of saying a lot, we might say many or numerous. You also want to try avoiding personal opinions and emotions. So we would say something like the data suggests instead of saying I think. And it helps to avoid contractions. So say cannot instead of can't. I would also highly suggest to write in third person unless your instructor tells you otherwise. It just makes your essay writing more polished, formal, and academic. The one thing I would like to note about academic language that I mention to my students is that it is a little bit like learning a new language in the sense that you may already know what the words mean. Like you may know what the word however means, but because you don't use it on a day-to-day basis, it's hard to apply the words in your writing. For example, I know quite a bit of French and I can understand conversations when they're happening, but because I don't use the language myself on a day-to-day basis, I would really struggle to hold up a conversation in French. But if I practiced more, I would definitely be able to pick up the ability to have a conversation in French. And it's the same with academic language. You may understand what the words mean and you may be familiar with a lot of academic language, but when it comes to practicing using it, it might be a bit more challenging. And so the more you practice, the better you'll get at it. Before heading into an activity, I just want to quickly cover choosing a title for our essay. So here are some steps you can follow to come up with a really great title for your essay. First, think of some keywords based on your thesis statement, because you want to make sure you have your topic and your argument in your title. Second, use a thesaurus to find synonyms or look up inspirational quotes related to your topic. This will get your creative juices flowing. From there, you can choose 3 to 4 keywords that are consistent with your writing style and tone. Things like puns, rhyme, and alliteration can make a title more fun and catchy. From there, you can combine your keywords into a title, but try not to make it too long. You can also use colons to elaborate on your title and use a question if you want. The most important thing though is to make sure that your title captures your topic and your argument. Personally, I don't get super creative with my title, but I like it to be simple and straightforward. So for me, I might say something like the benefits of music for the brain. Here I have my topic, which is music, and my argument, which is that it benefits the brain. And I included alliteration for benefits and brain just to make it a little more catchy. AI can also help you come up with titles for your essay. Give it your thesis statement or your entire essay and have it come up with a variety of choices for you. And then you can take those ideas and mix and match them into your own. All right, let's hop into our activity. If we want to get good at editing essays, we've got to edit essays. So for this activity, we're going to edit an essay. Now, I won't edit the whole essay here. We'll just do the introduction together, but you can find the link to the entire essay if you want to practice editing in the description below. Okay, so we're going to read this introduction, take some time to edit it, and then we're going to look at an edited version together. Let's read. Music is not just notes and sound. It goes back 35,000 years ago and is a big part of human culture and entertainment. It is a language everyone speaks. It lets us express and connect, making us closer together in society. Also, it was shown in studies that music have good effects on the brain. Music is good for the brain because it makes memory better, reduces anxiety, and makes mood better, among other things. I'm gonna squat for a second so you can review the introduction and let me know in the comments of any changes you think we could make to this paragraph to improve it. You can pause whenever you're ready. And when you're done, unpause and we'll look at a reviewed paragraph together. Okay, let's look at the edited version together. Music is more than just notes and sounds. It dates back over 35,000 years and is a significant part of human culture and entertainment. It is a universal language that allows us to express ourselves and connect with others, bringing society closer together. Not only is music culturally significant, but studies have also shown that it has a positive effects on the brain. Music benefits the brain by enhancing memory, reducing anxiety, and improving mood, among other advantages. For our structural edit, because we're looking at only one paragraph, we didn't make any major changes. For our copy edit or our line edit, we worked specifically on academic language, replacing words like big part to significant. Or instead of saying it is a language everyone speaks, we said it is a universal language. Or instead of saying makes mood better, saying improving mood. And finally, for our proofread, there were a few grammar mistakes and typos. For example, also, it was shown in studies that music have good effects on the brain was changed to, but studies have also shown that it has positive effects on the brain. And music is not just notes and sound was changed to music is more than just notes and sounds. Once you've edited your essay, you can also pop it into AI and ask AI to edit it as well and compare their version to yours. This may help you find any changes that you missed or give you ideas for further changes. It's kind of like having someone else look at your essay as well. All right, this ends our lesson on essay editing. And now it's your turn. Make sure you edit your essay and you go through all 3 levels of editing. Don't forget to take breaks as you edit as well. Also, as you edit, try and keep note of common mistakes you notice as you edit your essay. We each have our own writing style and tend to make the same mistakes over and over. So if you have an idea of things that you know that you tend to do, then they'll be easier to catch later on when you edit again. Also, for some extra support, you can always grab our complete writing and academic essay bundle. It includes all of the slides from the series in addition to some extra resources like the persuasive essay assignment, the essay editing checklist I mentioned earlier, and so much more. You can also book a tutoring class for extra support. And the links are in the description as always. All right, I'm gonna leave you to your editing, and be sure to join us for our last lesson where we're gonna be talking about taking our writing to the next level. So be sure to have your essay edited before you go to the next lesson, and I'll see you next time.